Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Education Matters podcast. I am your host, Socheta. Today, we have reached a very special milestone, episode 59. I am so incredibly grateful to have you all tuning in as we explore the heart and soul of our schools.
Thank you so much for having me, Socheta. It is truly an honor to be here and to discuss a topic that I believe is the absolute foundation of any successful educational system.
The pleasure is all ours, Mr. Saroon. For our listeners who might not know, Mr. Saroon is a veteran educator with over 30 years of experience in the classroom and in administration. Today, we are diving deep into the impact of teacher motivation on student achievement. It is a topic that feels so personal to me, and I think to everyone who has ever had that one teacher who changed their life.
You know, Socheta, you hit the nail on the head. We often talk about curricula, technology, and infrastructure, which are all important, of course. But the human element, the fire inside a teacher, that is the invisible force that truly moves the needle for students.
I want to start there, at that fire you mentioned. When we talk about teacher motivation in a professional studio sense, what does that actually look like on a Monday morning in a busy school?
It looks like energy. It looks like a teacher who walks into the room and doesn't just see a sea of faces, but sees a room full of potential. A motivated teacher is someone who is still curious about their subject, and more importantly, curious about their students. It's the difference between delivering a lecture and sparking a conversation.
Nodding thoughtfully, I can almost feel that energy just listening to you describe it. But let's look at the flip side for a moment, because we have to be real. We know that burnout is a massive issue. What happens to the students when that motivation starts to flicker, or, heaven forbid, goes out?
It's heartbreaking, Socheta. When a teacher is demotivated, the classroom can become a place of routine rather than a place of discovery. Students are incredibly intuitive. They pick up on the tone of voice, the lack of eye contact, the let's just get through this attitude. When the teacher stops caring about the why, the students stop caring about the how.
It sounds like a mirror effect. If I don't see my teacher excited about the lesson, why should I be? And the data actually backs this up, doesn't it? Studies show a direct correlation between teacher engagement and student test scores.
Absolutely. But I would argue it goes far beyond test scores. Motivation impacts student self-esteem, their willingness to take risks, and their long-term love for learning. A motivated teacher provides a safe harbor for students to fail and try again. That is where the real achievement happens, in those moments of resilience.
Smiling, I love that phrase, a safe harbor. I remember my 10th grade history teacher. He wasn't just teaching dates, he was telling stories. He was so motivated by the lessons of the past that we couldn't help but be swept up in it. I actually ended up doing extra research just to impress him.
That is exactly it. You wanted to impress him because you felt his investment in you. That is the ripple effect. When a teacher is intrinsically motivated, they create an environment of mutual respect. The student feels seen, and a student who feels seen is a student who performs.
Reflectively, so if we know this is so vital, we have to talk about the how. How do we keep this motivation alive? In your years of leadership, what have you seen that actually works to keep teachers feeling inspired?
Earnestly. It starts with autonomy. Teachers are professionals. When they are micromanaged or treated like components in a machine, their motivation dies. We need to give them the space to be creative. And second, we need to support them emotionally. Teaching is an emotional marathon. They need to know that the administration has their back when things get tough.
Insightfully, it sounds like we need to care for the caregivers. If we want teachers to pour into our children, we have to make sure the teachers' own cups are full. Is that a fair analogy?
It's the perfect analogy. We cannot expect a dry well to provide water. We must invest in professional development that isn't just about skills, but about inspiration. We need to celebrate the wins, no matter how small they seem.
Determinedly. I think this is a call to action for everyone listening. Whether you're a parent, a fellow educator, or a policymaker, we need to recognize that teacher well-being is student well-being. To the listeners, think about a teacher who motivated you. Have you ever told them?
That is a powerful question, Socheta. A simple thank you or a note explaining how a specific lesson touched a student's life can fuel a teacher for an entire year. It reminds them of their why.
Brightly. Let's dive into some of the more technical aspects for a second. We've seen a lot of talk about performance-based pay. Does financial incentive actually drive the kind of motivation we're talking about, or is it more complex?
It's much more complex. While fair pay is essential for dignity and security, you cannot buy the kind of passion that makes a teacher stay late to help a struggling student. Extrinsic rewards can sometimes even dampen intrinsic motivation if not handled carefully. The heart isn't moved by a bonus, it's moved by purpose.
So profound. The heart isn't moved by a bonus, it's moved by purpose. That is such a profound statement, Mr. Saroon. I'm going to be thinking about that for a long time. We're coming up on our break, but before we go, do you have one piece of advice for a young teacher who might be feeling their motivation slip away right now?
Deeply sincere. I would say go back to the kids. Get away from the paperwork, the emails, and the politics for a moment. Sit down with a student, listen to their story, and remember that you are the one person who might believe in them when no one else does. That connection is where the magic lives.
Emotionally. Thank you, Mr. Saroon. That was beautiful. Listeners, we are going to take a short breath, and when we come back, we will discuss how school cultures can be redesigned to keep that teacher-student connection at the very center. Stay with us for more of episode 59 of Education Matters.
Friendly. I am looking forward to it. There is so much more to say about the power of the classroom community.
Whispers. And we are back in 3, 2, 1. Joyfully. Welcome back. We are here with Mr. Saroon discussing the life-changing impact of teacher motivation. Before the break, we talked about the why, but now I want to talk about the where. Does the physical environment of a school affect how motivated a teacher feels?
Enthusiastically. Oh, tremendously. A bright, clean, and collaborative space sends a message. It says, we value what happens here. When teachers have a lounge where they can actually talk and share ideas, rather than just a cramped corner, it fosters a sense of belonging. Community is a huge driver of motivation.
Knowingly, it's that sense of being on a team, right? Nobody wants to feel like they are on an island, especially when the job is as demanding as teaching is today. I've heard many teachers say that their colleagues are the only reason they keep going.
Nodding. Exactly. Peer-to-peer motivation is a hidden treasure. When we observe each other and give constructive, kind feedback, we grow together. It turns a job into a craft. And when students see teachers learning from each other, it models the very behavior we want from them.
Thoughtfully, it's all connected. The motivation of the teacher, the atmosphere of the school, the engagement of the student, it's like a biological ecosystem. If one part is toxic, the whole thing suffers. But if one part thrives, it pulls everything else up with it.
That is a very poetic way to put it, Sucheta. And it's true. Achievement isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. It's the health of that ecosystem. When a teacher is motivated, they are more likely to use diverse teaching methods, to be patient with behavioral issues, and to go the extra mile.
Smiling. We have covered so much ground today, from the fire in the classroom to the systemic changes needed in our schools. Mr. Saroon, I can't thank you enough for sharing your wisdom and your heart with us today. You've certainly motivated me.
Joyfully, it has been a total delight. If even one teacher listens to this and feels a bit more seen, then we've done our job today. Keep up the great work with this podcast. It is a vital voice for our community.
Warmly. Thank you. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us for episode 59. Remember, the greatest tool in any classroom is the human heart. Until next time, I'm Sucheta, and this is Education Matters. Gentle music fade out.